dear all the participants. As we observe this very important day for environment globally, let us commit again to restore and reconnect positively with nature. The current pandemic has put to imperative need for our collective action to ecosystem restoration, so as to secure our health and well-being. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of International Union for Conservation of Nature, as a president of IUCN, I commend the government of Pakistan and the UN Environment Program for your jointly leading this event successfully. Today's launching of UN Decade on Ecosystem Restoration also provides a fitting prelude to the IUCN's World Conservation Congress in coming September, Marseille, France, where IUCN's one decadal agenda for Nature 2030 will be deliberated upon by our union's 14,000 plus members, including government and state agency members, NGO and indigenous people members, as well as scientific academic institutions members. Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, IUCN also appreciate and welcome the newborn Challenges Pledge of restoring 1 million hectare forest made by Pakistan. As you all know, government have active roles in shaping and leading strategic direction towards a well-balanced, equitable, and sustainable use of natural resources, safeguarding its nature heritage. Pakistan is one to look up to. By integrating nature-based solutions into countries' development programs, so as to answer countries' pressing societal and development challenges, the country's green COVID-19 response, the 10 billion tree tsunami projects, and the Recharging Pakistan initiative, along with 85,000 nature positive jobs generated, are significant contributions to UN Decade on Ecosystem, which we are launching today. Let us build back better and greener. Happy World Environmental Day. Thank you. Your Excellency, Prime Minister.
Thank you, President IUCN. मलिक अमीन असलम साहब की ज़ेर सदारत इस कन्वेंशन का पहला सेशन जारी है। दूसरे सेशन की क़यादत वज़ीर आज़म पाकिस्तान इमरान खान साहब करेंगे। अब से थोड़ी देर के बाद वो तशरीफ़ लाएंगे। इस वक्त हम यहाँ पर एक ज़बरदस्त परफॉर्मेंस जो है वो मुलाहिज़ा करेंगे। एक बैंड है जो आया है कहाँ से, गिलगित बल्तिस्तान से, और बहुत ही पॉपुलर गिलगित बल्तिस्तान की सकाफ़त की यहाँ पर भरपूर तर्जुमानी भी करेंगे और आपको काफ़ी ज़्यादा शोहरत हासिल है, काफ़ी पज़राई मिली जीबी में भी, पूरे पाकिस्तान में भी। सलमान पारस और उनकी पूरी टीम आप सबकी पुरज़ोर तालियों में, जोश भरी तालियों में तशरीफ़ लाते हैं सलमान पारस।
अल्लाह की रज़ा से है निगहबान भी हम इसके, अल्लाह की रज़ा से है निगहबान भी हम इसके, अल्लाह की रज़ा से है निगहबान भी हम इसके।
मुझे बताया जा रहा है कि कोई शोर शराबा होना चाहिए भाई, कोई हल्ला गुल्ला होना चाहिए, कोई सेलिब्रेशन होनी चाहिए, और नहीं ऐसी भी कोई नहीं होनी चाहिए। अच्छा, वो ये जो दिन पाकिस्तान, आज पाकिस्तान को ये जो एजाज़ मिला है कि वर्ल्ड इन्वायरमेंट डे सेलिब्रेट करें, तो ये किसकी वजह से मिला है ज़रा पता तो चले। ठीक बात है इमरान, लेकिन ज़्यादा बिल्कुल अब ये जो दिन मनाने का एहसास मिला है ये आपकी वजह से मिला है। जो फॉरेस्ट की टीम यहाँ बैठी है माशाल्लाह, इश्तियाक साहब खड़े होके उनको दाद दे रहे हैं, और मलिक अमीन असलम साहब تمہیں یاد ہے کہ جب خیبر پختونخوا نے 1 ارب درخت کا ٹارگٹ کمپلیٹ کیا تھا تو آپ یہاں پہ موجود تھے نا؟ ہاں آگے چلتے ہیں. So that was a beautiful performance from Gilgit-Baltistan. Salman Paris, thank you very much, and your team as well. Moving on, we have yet another message coming from the Executive Secretary at the UNCBD.
Ecosystem services are indispensable to the well-being of all world's people. Yet, ecosystems continue to erode. Ecosystem degradation already affects the well-being of at least 3.2 billion people. Fortunately, it is very possible to reverse this trend. The 5th Global Biodiversity Outlook shows that where policy measures have been put in place and where actions have been implemented, they have delivered positive results. Therefore, ecosystem restoration, when implemented effectively and with the support of local population, it works. Restoring 15% of converted lands in the right places could prevent 60% of projected species extinctions. Restoring through agroforestry alone has the potential to increase food security for 1.3 billion people. Restoring coral reefs in Mesoamerica and Indonesia could deliver an additional $2.5 billion in ecosystem services benefits per year. Ecosystems restoration is at the core of the post-2020 Global Biodiversity Framework to be adopted later this year in Kunming, China. It will serve as an excellent backdrop to the expected actions under the UN Decade on Ecosystem Restoration. The Convention on Biological Diversity, together with our sister Rio Conventions, will use this platform to further enhance synergy for optimizing the multiple benefits of actions for ecosystem restoration. I congratulate the government and the people of Pakistan, the host of this year's World Environment Day, on their vision of investing in nature-based solutions. Pakistan's 10 billion tree tsunami, restoring 1 million hectares of degraded forest. The Recharge Pakistan initiative, restoring degraded wetland ecosystem, and protected areas being expanded to include 15% of land area and 10% of marine area by 2023 is a clear and tangible demonstration of being part of the solution for nature. These initiatives will not only restore and protect nature to fight climate change and biodiversity loss, but they will also create thousands of green jobs and serve as an inspiration to other countries to emulate and adapt. Today, on World Environment Day, let us dedicate ourselves to preventing, halting, and reversing the degradation of all the ecosystem worldwide.
Dear friends, the greatest problems facing humanity, including land degradation, biodiversity loss, pandemics, and climate change, are closely linked. Across the world, our demands for food, raw materials, and homes are not sustainable. We are putting our natural environment under enormous pressure. Our World Environment Day host country, Pakistan, is home to iconic landscapes and ecosystems. The mountain beauty of Swat and the majestic Karakoram, the snow leopard of Chitral, the 5 rivers of the Punjab. At the UNCCD, we fervently believe that restoring land and ecosystems has a huge return on investments. Nature-based solutions can guide us towards a greener, healthier, and more sustainable stewardship of our planet. This year, World Environment Day marks the start of the UN Decade of Ecosystem Restoration. The pandemic has shown that when political will, collective action, and meaningful investment come together, we can make a difference. This is how we can revive and protect our ecosystems. I applaud Pakistan's leadership and vision. The 10 billion tree tsunami is a wonderful and vital initiative to restore and regreen degraded forest ecosystems. Let us all be part of generation restoration together. Thank you.
So that was Mr. Ibrahim, Executive Secretary at the UNCCD. Moving on, we have yet another message from Executive Director at the UN Habitat.
Your Excellency, Mr. Imran Khan, Prime Minister of Pakistan, Honorable Mr. Malik Amin Asma, Special Assistant to Prime Minister on Climate Change, Minister of Climate Change, Honorable Ms. Zatash Gul, Minister of State for Climate Change, Ms. Inga Anderson, Executive Director of UNEP, Honorable Ministers, Excellencies, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning, afternoon, and evening to all of you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I extend my sincere congratulations to the governments of Pakistan and UNEP for hosting this year's observance of World Environment Day in Pakistan. Ecosystem restorations. The theme of this year's World Environment Day is one of the most critical issues of our time as we battle the climate crisis and the current COVID-19 pandemic. UN Habitat looks forward to supporting member states and cities during the UN Decades on Ecosystem Restoration that starts today. UN Habitat's focus is on sustainable urbanization, and nature-based solution is central to our efforts. It is entirely befitting that Pakistan, with its rich diversity of ecosystems, ranging from some of the highest mountains and glaciers in the world to the Arabian Sea, is the host of today's global event. From UN Habitat, I assure you, we will work to make this a decade of action. Indeed, to recover from the pandemic and address the climate crisis, we have no other choice than to heal nature and the planet while we heal ourselves. Ecosystem restoration is essential for this. Suburban expansion almost always leads to the degradations of natural habitats and ecosystems found within cities. Cities need to minimize habitat destruction and rehabilitate existing habitats to a level of good ecological functioning, both for biodiversity and resilience. While land use change is a key driver of zoonotic diseases like COVID-19 and climate change, sustainable urbanization can play a central role in ecosystem preservation and restoration. In Africa and Asia, where urbanization is increasing fastest, ensuring that cities are well planned and compact will ensure that they use less energy and natural resources. UN Habitat's Urban Planning Lab helps cities to use planned city extensions to optimize densities and minimize peri-urban land conversion. In complement, our Global Public Space Program supports citywide public space assessments and strategies to protect green space. The restoration of urban riverine corridors has been one important result. Increasing green spaces in cities and better managing their resources consumption and waste not only makes cities more livable for people, but also protects biodiversity and helps to build back degraded ecosystem. UN Habitat supports cities and local governments in turning off the tap of pollution. And UN Habitat's Waste-Wise Cities initiative, for example, connect more than 200 cities across the world. Through this network, cities can share their experiences and innovations leading to the replication of waste management solutions suited to local contexts. We also work with our sisters agency UNEP in identifying global marine litter hotspots where we support cities to improve their solid waste management. Under a new joint initiative with UNEP, the Go Blue project, we are working to create a sustainable blue economy in selected coastal towns of Kenya. This aims to establish planning framework linking cities and the marine environment and will pilot a blue carbon project to restore thousands of hectares of mangrove and seagrass through community engagement and create hundreds of jobs in waste recycling. It will also design a constructed wetland for wastewater recycling and ecosystem restoration. Ladies and gentlemen, in these difficult times, it is more crucial than ever that we reinforce and join our efforts to strengthen global cooperation to accelerate progress on the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, the Paris Agreement, and the new urban agenda. The amount of money invested in ecosystem destruction is 40 times higher than the amount invested in ecosystem restoration. This must change. Please join me in committing to play our part in the realization of the vision we hold for an inclusive, resilient, and sustainable future. I look forward to strengthening our cooperation. Thank you.
Thank you. बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया. Her Excellency Ms. Mamoona Mohammed Sharif, thank you very much for being with us and sending across a very good message. She's the Executive Director at UN Habitat. Now there's a video we need to play, and you will definitely enjoy this video from UNEP on glaciers. So let's have a watch. Moving on, we have yet another message from the Executive Director at UNOPS.
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, for far too long we have been harming the natural world. Our list of losses is long and painful. Wetlands, forests, coral reefs, and our biodiversity are disappearing at astonishing speed. we are getting more frequent and more damaging droughts, floods, fires, and storms. Our habitats are rapidly degrading. In the words of the UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres, we face an environmental emergency. COVID-19 has been yet another wake-up call. If we are unkind to nature, it will be unkind to us. Because our natural ecosystems support all life on Earth. If they suffer, we will all suffer. This World Environment Day, we have a chance to change that, a chance to make peace with nature. At UNOPS, we do our bit by finding sustainable solutions for a greener future. Whether it's through supporting sustainable, resilient, and inclusive infrastructure and supply chains, or through our significant management expertise to help protect our ecosystems, or by helping ensure that countries and organizations manage their waste sustainably and responsibly. Infrastructure is central to addressing climate change. Through our mandate in infrastructure, UNOPS supports countries and communities to both mitigate and adapt to a changing climate. I want to thank Pakistan for their commitment to hosting World Environment Day 2021, helping to mobilize the call to restore our damaged ecosystems. Together, we can build a better future for all. This World Environment Day, let's start by resetting our relationship with nature. Thank you.
Okay. We are about to close the first session of the World Environment Day being hosted by Pakistan. And Prime Minister of Pakistan, Imran Khan, he will be joining us shortly for the second session as we start. Moving on, we have another message from the Director General at FAO, Food and Agriculture Organization at the UN.
The COVID-19 pandemic has put the spotlight on the critical role of the healthy ecosystems and the services they provide. But the pressure on the natural resources is increasing. Degraded ecosystem affect the well-being of 3.2 billion people, that is 40% of the world population. Increase the poverty and food insecurity. It is time to move from the crisis to recovery. FAO is proud to co-lead the UN Decade on Ecosystem Restoration, which is a unique opportunity for restoring harmony with nature by showing it the reverence it deserves. While the feeding the world in a sustainable manner, bring degraded ecosystems back to the sustainable production will help provide the food we need, leaving no one behind. New sustainable agricultural opportunities could generate almost 80 million jobs by 2030, with more than 90% of them located in developing nations. Transforming agri-food and land use systems could create new business opportunities worth up to $4.5 trillion a year by 2030. This year's World Environment Day slogan, reimagine, recreate, restore, defines the role we all have to play. We must take bold actions like Pakistan's ambitious 10 billion tree initiative that combines community participation, green job creation, and strong political commitment. Let us join forces to restore ecosystems, ensure better production, better nutrition, better environment, and a better life for all.
Thank you, Director General, Food and Agriculture Organization at the UN. Thank you very much for your message. Moving on, we have another message from the Minister for Environment, Federal Republic of Germany.
Minister Malik Amin Aslam Khan, ladies and gentlemen, today's World Environment Day marks the start of the UN Decade on Ecosystem Restoration. Climate change is progressing. Biodiversity loss continues. The time left to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals is dwindling while we are still in the grip of the coronavirus pandemic. We are all very aware that we must take action as an international community more urgently than ever before. We need a clear trend reversal. We have an excellent opportunity for this in the UN Decade on Ecosystem Restoration. We should actively use this opportunity. Ecosystem restoration helps us with many of the current challenges. Restoring ecosystems protect the climate, conserves biodiversity, makes sustainable development possible, and contributes to sustainable recovery from the pandemic. It is up to all of us to use this potential. My warm thanks goes to Pakistan for its commitment to restoring ecosystems and for hosting this year's World Environment Day. We need days like this to reaffirm our joint goals and support. In the next decade, we must lay the foundations for a healthy planet and an intact ecosystem. Germany will do its part.
Zara